all you need is save yourself a coffee can, any kind of aluminum can or any kind of container shape like this you could use for this project. And what you want to do is you want to measure the height and then all the way around and cut yourself a piece of decorative paper that you can wrap around your tin, okay? The paper I used was, I think it was 12 inches this way. Let me measure. Yes. And then the height of it would be, it was about 5.5 inches high. The problem was it doesn't reach all the way around. So what I did was cut myself an extra strip of paper to go on here first. And I'm just going to show you how I assembled it. Okay. I use glossy accents. You can use double-sided tape, any kind of adhesive you're comfortable with. I just like the glossy accents because it actually holds to the can. So what I did was added some adhesive to the top of my can. I laid this strip down, okay? And you might have to hold it there a minute depending on, you know, your adhesive. I hope I'm in camera here. Sorry guys if I'm not. Okay, and then I just added some to the bottom piece of the paper and smoothed it down to the bottom of the can. Okay, so that was my first strip that I did. Now I'm going to add this strip. So basically I put glue here and here. And you just kind of want to line it up. So you make sure you're kind of even and covering the top and the bottom. And you don't have it on too crooked. Okay, and then you want to wrap it around your tin can and just add some more adhesive to the other side and glue it down. This is another, you know, thing you could do. I have a challenge going on to recycle or upcycle something. You could just cover a soup can or, you know, any kind of can you have laying around with paper and, you know, put happy fall and that's it. You got yourself a recycled altered item and you don't have to go, you know, crazy decorating it if you don't want to. Like I said, you guys have free reign as far as that goes, but that's pretty much how you cover the can. And just giving you an idea if you need any. So once you have your can covered, you want to set that aside and get out your strips of paper that you are going to attach to your can for your pumpkin. Okay. I have 8 strips of paper that measure 12 inches long by 1.5 inches wide. You can do yours any width that you want, but the 12 inches for the length will give you a nice, you know, puffy shape of the pumpkin. And what you need to do is just line them all up together. I already have mine embossed. I ran these through my Cuttlebug and I embossed them, and then I also inked them with, let me see, what ink did I use here? The Vintage Photo from Tim Holtz Distress Inks. So I have them all inked up and I'm going to line them up. And you need to put them, punch a hole. I'm only going to do 4 at a time. Line them up and punch a hole in the center close to the edge of the paper, but not, you know, too close that it could tear. Let me line these up and punch my hole through here. Through the rest of them. Okay, and that's it. Then you want to get yourself a brad of some type. This is going to be the outside of my pumpkin. Actually, yeah, I better make sure I have them all lined up. with the embossed part on the outside. See, that one wasn't lined up. Make sure you line them up. So this is the outside, okay? I'm gonna insert your brad through the hole. And just pull it down. And then what you want to do is spread out your papers so that they form a circle and that they're spread out evenly. Okay? So I basically have 2 running this way and then these 3. Make sure they're spaced out really well and kind of even as you can get them. And then on the center here, so that I can stop them from spinning, because if you don't do something here, they're just going to keep spinning on you since they're on a brad. What I did was I took some of my foam tape once I get it to where I want it, and I put some foam tape down over the brad to stop it from spinning, and it also makes it easier to adhere to the bottom of your tin. Okay? So I'm going to peel this tape, peel this off. Oh, I can't grab anything today, guys. Sorry about that. Peel this tape off if I can. There we go. And get my coffee can or my tin. Okay. I'm going to add a little bit of extra hot glue to the foam so that I really know it has a good hold. I'm going to center up my can in the middle and I'm going to press down. Okay, then you can flip it over and just press really good to make sure it's on there nice and solid. Hold it there for a minute. And I'm going to turn it back over. Okay. Another step that I did too, I used paper Mod Podge, the acid-free. After I inked my papers and I embossed them, I used Mod Podge on them just to give them a little more sturdiness. If you do use the Mod Podge, you might want to let them cure overnight because they're a little bit sticky when they first dry and you try to work with them. So I did do that. I Mod Podged everything. Okay, now this part you're going to want to pull the papers up and adhere them into your tin can. So all I do is I added a little bit of adhesive, hot glue, whatever glue you want to use, and I pull it straight up, and then I bend that flap over and under my can. And that's it. Now my tin can has a lip on it for, this was a coffee can. If you're using a regular can that doesn't have this kind of lip, all you have to do is flip this over. You know, you can bend your paper a little bit, add adhesive to this side, set it on the lip of your can, and press it inside. That's it. Press it over the edge of the can. Okay? And I'm going to lift this a little bit and add some glue down there so I know that that part's done pretty well. So this is all you're going to do, guys. Add some glue, pull it straight up, and pop it over the lip. Okay, add glue, bend it over. Okay, do this so you can see what I'm doing. I'm folding it over the lip and I'm pressing it underneath. So it does that. Okay, so now it's glued up underneath the inside of the ridge here and it's not coming off. Okay, so you're going to do that to all of your strips until you form your pumpkin shape. I already have that done with this other pumpkin right here. Okay, so that's how you do that. Now, you guys want to make a lid similar to mine. I'm going to show you what to do with that. You want to make, for this part of the lid here, the top part, what I did was I took one of my lids off of one of my containers and I cut myself a circle. After I cut my circle, I just went in with my scissors and I started making scallop shapes with it. And I ended up with this. My circle measured, my circle measured approximately, I would say 6 inches across, 6 inches all the way around. I started out with that circle, and then you can just draw your scallops in the circle and then cut them out. Okay, so that's how I came up with that. And then after that, I crinkled it up into a ball, pulled it back out. I took that same ink, the Vintage Photo, and I inked it all up. And of course I used some Mod Podge on this side. Okay, so that's how I made that. And then this other part of my lid, which is the underneath part here, this actually came from a used ribbon roll. I took one piece of the ribbon roll off and put it aside. Took this apart. I went in with sandpaper. See all these pieces? You might end up getting that if you pull one of yours apart. I pulled it apart and I sanded it really good. And I covered it with paper. You can use any size, it doesn't matter. It's going underneath. Like this one's a big one. This one was a more skinnier one. This one's thinner. You know, you can use any size you want. Basically, I covered it with paper and I inked it up. And I left the inside plain. I didn't paint it or anything. I just covered it up with paper. And then this part, I covered both sides with paper. Okay? Even though you're going to glue it underneath your lid here, I don't know. I just still did that. If you want, you could just cover one side with paper. So I did the crinkle effect again. I crinkled up my paper, I inked it up, and then I covered it and trimmed around the edges. And I ended up with this disc. Okay? So that's how I made that. And all you're going to do is glue your disc to the inside of your lid. Okay, this is the inside. Try and center it as best you can. Okay. And you're going to do the same thing with this. Now this part, I did not use hot glue. I used my Turbo tacky glue. It's basically just stronger than the regular tacky glue, and it also dries a little quicker. So I used some tacky glue along the edges because this dries nice and clear. And I didn't want any hot glue bubbles, you know, sticking out. I'm going to glue that to the center of the disc. And I'm just going to hold it there for a minute. Okay? So that's how you form that part of the lid. And the reason why I put this on is because when it's on your pumpkin, it just helps in aiding it for it not to slide off. Okay, so if you don't add this piece, your lid is just going to sit on top and it might slide off, it might not, it's up to you. This is an optional piece, you don't have to add that if you don't want to. Just letting you know that I did. So I'm going to set that aside and let that dry a little bit and show you guys how I made the stem and some of these little curly cues. Okay. For the stem, I took a piece of corrugated cardboard, okay, and I made it about 1.5 inches, maybe it's 2 inches, no, about 1.5 inches in height. So you want to cut 1.5 inches wide. I'm going to do it this way. You can do it any size you want. I'm just sharing the sizes that I use. And then what you want to do is, since they're both covered, I took one side and I peeled off the paper so that you can see the corrugated part of the paper. And then all I did was roll it up, add a little bit of glue, and seal it. Then I took some paint, some acrylic green paint that I had in my stash, and I just rubbed it on all over, and I ended up with this. Okay, so that's how you make that. And then the little curlicues of the corrugated cardboard and the paper, I just cut myself some strips, some skinny strips of cardboard. And again, peel off the one side. Oop, that didn't look too good. Peel off the one side so you get the corrugated. I cut it the wrong way, guys, sorry. Try that again. Cut a strip off, peel this off, which it was a lot easier when I did it before, but now I'm doing the video, you're not going to see it. You're going to peel off this paper so that you can see the corrugated cardboard on the inside. Okay? So once you have that done, I just ran my scissor like you would for curly ribbon. I ran that along the side just to soften it up. And then I wrapped it around a paintbrush handle. Just like this. And you want to wrap it pretty tight. And you kind of just want to like twist it a little bit so it's nice and tight. And then when you pull it off, it forms the little curlicue. Okay? And I also added some acrylic paint to it like I did for the stem. And you're going to do the same thing with your strip of paper. Cut yourself a strip of paper. Run your scissors along the bottom edge to kind of soften up the paper so it's more workable. And then you just wrap it around your paintbrush handle or whatever you have available to you. Make it tight, pull it off, and you have a paper curlicue. Okay, so that's what I did there. The leaves I embossed through my Cuttlebug, and I just cut out shapes of leaves. And then when I had the shape of my leaf, which is right here, I wanted to bump them up and make them look more dimensional. So I figure I'm going to glue this part down at the stem. So I rolled this a little bit, and then I put it on the opposite, rolled it this way, and then I moved to this end and rolled it that way. Okay, so you can see they bumped it up and made it more dimensional. And I'll do that again for you. This is the side that I'm going to glue down, put my paintbrush underneath, and kind of bend the paper over the paintbrush and roll it between your fingers a little bit. Okay, then start on this side. See where my roll ends here? I'm going to move my paintbrush right here, and I'm going to roll it this way. Okay, and then I just want to roll this bottom piece down a little flat, and then you can work the paper. Okay, so that's how I roll my paper for my leaves, and this should be pretty dry by now. So we got the bottom. Just add glue to the bottom of your stem. Make sure you try and center it pretty good and attach it down. Okay. And I put one leaf on one side and another on the other. And then I just went through and added my curlicue paper. Curlicue, I don't know what you want, the name for it. My curly ribbon paper, or my curly paper, corrugated cardboard. And just added those to it. I have another one, I have some more that are already done over here. Add it to the opposite side, I think. Just glue them down. Add some glue to the end. And glue your papers down. I'm using like the tip of my tweezer to press it down because it is hot glue. And I don't want to get my fingers in there and burn them. Okay. And that's it, guys. That's how you make the lid. Or that's how I made my lid. And then once this paper is over, you kind of want to just work it and bend it down over this disc. You guys can see the disc. Just kind of bend it in a little bit, scrunch it lightly, and move it back out. Okay. And that way it kind of looks like that. And you've got your lid for your pumpkin. So that's how I did it, guys, and I hope you guys had fun with this. Have fun with this project if you make them. And if you have any questions, let me know. And take care. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.